Welcome back to Afternoon Express. After falling ill in her first year of nursing school, Nicole van Vuuren was diagnosed with Neuromyelitis Optica, an autoimmune condition which left her with a visual impairment. Her condition inspired her to pursue a career in physiotherapy since her sense of touch, hearing and smell were heightened, making her better suited for the profession. She joins us today to share her story of triumph and how she's helping other people in her community. Nicole, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you for having me.
When I read your story, I just thought this girl is so smart. And I mean, you've been through such an ordeal and come out the end, like at the other side, like so much better for it. I mean, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here to share your story.
Thank you.
One of the reasons why I love women's health stories so much is because it teaches you so much to listen to your body, because often your body tells you when something is amiss. So you were first year nursing, healthy, happy, normal, and then your body started giving you a couple of symptoms. Do you want to take us through that, the very beginning?
Yeah, it all started, like you say, I've always been a healthy, active person, and it started off one night, I was at a braai and I had some gas cool drink, which I normally don't have, and I then got hiccups, which I associated with the drinking of the gas cool drink.
Yeah.
But then the next day, the same thing happened. After I had breakfast, I then had hiccups again, which I thought was odd, but not too crazy. So I told myself I'll take note during lunchtime. So the same thing happened. I had my lunch and then I got hiccups. So the evening came and I thought I'll tell my mom that, you know, this was weird and I don't know what, give me some advice. I told her, and actually on my way to telling her, I just vomited out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I found this very strange because I never ate anything that would have upset my stomach or anything out of the ordinary. I never felt any nausea. And we decided that I should pay attention, see for the next couple of days if the symptoms persist, and then go to the doctor, which it did. And it kept on for weeks, months, and no doctor really knew what was happening.
Yeah, and also you were misdiagnosed for a very long time.
Yes.
When did it become serious and when did you eventually get your successful diagnosis?
So it was, like I say, it was a mystery because I wasn't having any nausea. The vomiting came out of nowhere, and the hiccuping and the vomiting lasted from when I woke up until when I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was in most of the hospitals in Cape Town, and like you say, I was misdiagnosed many times because of that fact of there was no nausea. It was just happening. It was my body just reacting against itself. And it got to the one, every time I was given pain medication, nausea medication, and muscle relaxants.
Yeah.
And this one time, my body responded differently to the drip that they put me on. I was experiencing a lot of pain, abdominal pain. It felt as if many hundreds of hooks was in my abdominal area and it was being ripped out. And the doctor explained to me that after months of vomiting, I was ending up vomiting bile, which was a sign that my vital organs were starting to give in, and it was disintegrating and eating each other basically. So the pain that I was experiencing was that my body was now reversing from the dying process to now living. So they still didn't know what was happening, even though my body was responding differently this time, and there was this sort of better period, and I was then discharged once again, and I was given medication which wouldn't work because I would end up vomiting and I wouldn't be able to, the
medicine wasn't going in, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Out,
So it really got bad to the point where even sips of water I couldn't keep in.
Yeah.
And I weighed about 30 kgs, which is the normal weight for a 10-year-old.
Yeah. At this point, is that when you started losing your eyesight?
No, this was a few months before that. The vision loss, the first symptom was that when I was driving, I couldn't see as far as what I could normally, and there was this constant glare in my eyes. And I found that obviously strange. I went to the optometrist and they said that I was already blind in my right eye and I was half blind in my left eye. And they gave me a referral, which would be for this was about December now, which would be in January, mid-January time. And I was just sent off home, wait for the appointment, continue with what I normally do.
And all of this was due to your autoimmune disease?
Yes.
Which was what exactly? Like, what does your autoimmune disease stand for?
So it's Neuromyelitis Optica, which affects, it's an autoimmune condition. So it's where your body, your immune system starts to recognize itself as a threat and it starts to attack. So this, for Neuromyelitis Optica, it happens in the optic nerve and the spine. So in my case, it was the optic nerve, and it's said to be monophasic, which is the once-off occurrence.
So now that they know what it is, what kind of a treatment are you on, and how is your eyesight now?
So at the moment, I'm no longer on any treatment.
Okay.
I received plasmapheresis when I had the attack. And it was where they filtered out my plasma. They attached me to the machine, and it wasn't tested before. It was only tested for spinal condition, for the optic, for the myelitis part. And there was huge risk to it, which would be that I could end up not being able to walk because
there was a side effect.
No. There was a 12-centimeter needle that went into my femoral vein, which is millimeters away from the artery and the nerve. So any slight move could cause another change. So it wasn't a guarantee that it would bring my sight back.
Now, I mean, this is such a huge ordeal. I mean, imagine going through this as a young woman. And this part of the story is where I fell in love with you and just thought that you are the most courageous young woman ever. Is you were doing nursing and you realized because you were going blind, you actually needed to do something for your career where you could use your hands. So you started studying physiotherapy because, and I want you to explain this, where your sense of touch and smell were heightened because you were losing your eyesight. Tell me that.
So my sense of touch and hearing tripled by I don't know how much, and
how sensitive were you, and are you still as sensitive?
So not as much, because some of my vision came back. As some of my vision was coming back, my hearing went slightly back to normal, but it is still heightened. So I will hear a few rooms away, and my sense of touch is a bit more heightened, which is ideal in the profession that I am in, because it is a hands-on profession. So that was my point of choosing this career, is that, you know, I'm still in the medical field, but I'm using my new set of skills to my advantage. So it was difficult because I had to relearn everything, from pouring a glass of water to putting toothpaste on a toothbrush because of my lack of vision. So I went through that year.
What about studying? How did you go through your study books? Because I mean, did you have to learn Braille, or is your sight enough that you can read some words? Or?
So the larger and the closer, the better. So I had my notes printed out enlarged, and I also use a electronic magnifier that can allow me to read small print. And counting my steps. Luckily, at the university that I was, it was differently abled friendly. So the lines were painted at the steps, and I use a lot of my memory. I will first go and if it's a new environment, I'll familiarize myself with the environment. And then when I do have class there, I don't have to stumble and fall, you know.
Let me just tell you something, girl, because now you've graduated, you're qualified, and you are a physiotherapist. And not only that, I mean, how's this woman? But you're also giving back now to your community. Tell us how you're doing that.
So I started out my practice last month, and you know, while I got my experience after I qualified, I really wanted to give back to my community, because it's not that easy for everyone, it's not that easy to access medical care, especially if you don't have medical aid. And you know, being discriminated against myself because of my visual impairment, even up until this year when I wanted to go find a job, you know, I was discriminated against. And I feel that the term disabled is, we should walk away from that and use the term differently abled. So, you know, it's not really that you are unable, because that is what disabled means, is that you are unable. And I try and encourage people to move away from that term, and I try also through making physiotherapy accessible. I want to uplift my community, so I have reduced rates and I go out to the community. It's mostly about promoting what physio is, because not a lot of people understand that physiotherapy can help in most problems. Because physiotherapists are movement experts.
And there's nobody better to do that than someone who's just got that extra gift of touch.
Yes.
Let me just tell you something. You are a queen. Wow. Thank you for sharing your story. It is remarkable.
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you for all of the outstanding work you're doing and sharing your story now, really motivating and inspiring so many people. You're amazing. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.